Good morning and welcome to the Sunday edition, June 3rd, 2022 of the Nighthawk Weekend Morning Brew. I am your host, William Nighthawk. I'm going to read the warning. The owner/author and publishing editor of Nighthawk I Strangeness, aka William Nighthawk Podcast, Nighthawk by the Fire, Into the Red Rabbit Hole, believes in good faith that it constitutes fair use of any and all content to be used for the sole purpose of informing the viewer/patrons of information for educational purposes only per Title 17 USC subsection 107. Again, constitutes fair use of any and all content. Facebook. Alrighty. Let's get that off of there. That's been on there long enough. Just like to make my point with Facebook. Unfortunately, we got to. Alrighty, and good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, let's get this program on the road for a good Sunday morning. I hope everybody's got a cup of coffee with them because they're going to need it. Yesterday, there was some discussion about the whole cryptid thing and about their abilities and all this that was put out there, and I made a comment about if you want to know what my people think to let me know. Well, today I'm going to let you know, okay? Basically, something can be flesh and blood and bone and be so spiritual because it's connected to the earth, to the environment, to other animals, that it could almost have magical, mystical powers. My people did it for thousands of years. I still do it during ceremony. There's something about the energy from Mother Earth and the environment, the energy from trees, from water, from granite rocks, that give us power. Because, see, we may be flesh and bone, just like any other cryptid, but we are energy also. The ability to cloak or to go invisible, the ability to walk between worlds or realms, dimensions, whatever you want to call it. We had that. The cryptids have that, okay? The only difference between mankind, or, I don't even like to use the word mankind nowadays, humankind, is that the only difference between humankind and the animal, as far as the cryptids go, in not having that ability to walk between dimensions anymore, to have the thought process to levitate objects, to be able to cloak yourself, is because mankind developed the technology end of it and went that way, and Bigfoot and all the other cryptids, the dogmen and stuff, went the other way with nature and the natural laws of science. Okay? Now, the natural law of science says the more you live in an environment, the more you interact with that environment, the more you derive from that environment. The only good we're going to get from technology is that you're probably going to end up being half a freaking cyborg. Okay? You're going to end up being half not human. You're going to be half robotic. That's the only thing you're going to get out of technology. Because as soon as the AI takes over, forget about mankind. Okay? Because we're gonna be the dumbest animals on the planet. Okay? And we are the dumbest animals on the planet because we're destroying our own environment. So imagine that. The way Native Americans and myself look at things, okay, is that we are all connected in this vast web of life, okay? We all have energy, and in that energy, we have the ability to bring forth the good energy or the bad energy, okay? We have the ability to connect to our environment or choose not to connect to our environment, okay? That's what the Bigfoot do, okay? These, as some like to say, are just animals. Flesh and blood. These are not just animal, not just flesh and blood. They have the abilities that we don't have because of how they've survived. They've had no choice, none whatsoever in the matter. And until mankind gets off their high horse and realizes that, and science realizes that Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yahweh, whatever you call them, until we get off our asses and realize and admit to it that they have special abilities because of how they've had to survive and we don't. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Hello, Irene. Hey, Raymond. How we doing? I'm gonna try and put the link out here on the chat. Like I said, try. And we'll see what happens. It's not going to do it that way. I'm going to have to get my cell phone and do it. Imagine that. All right. Well, it's not going to do it. Okay. I'm starting to really hate StreamYard. Anyways. Let me see here. Share screen. No, I don't see it on here. All right. Okay, it doesn't want to. All right. Well, I guess we'll just keep on going then. Hope you all do have a cup of coffee or tea or something. I'm going to do a short one today because yesterday evening was a pretty long one. And you know what I think too? I think I'm going to send my brother a link. And Dennis, I hope you're on here. I hope you got your coffee because we got something we do have to discuss. Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Man creates. Yeah, that's definitely, yeah, man creates as fast as they destroy the land. Yes, they do. One thing that mankind is designed to do is to kill itself. Unfortunately, we go around thinking we're the smartest animal on the planet, and we're actually not. We're the dumbest. Um, okay, Raymond, what do you? Hmm, let's see here. Just wanted to say that last time because Mount Fuji is haunted. Oh yeah, the suicide. I've heard about the suicide forest. I actually know quite a bit about the suicide forest. Um, oh, thanks, Raymond. Yes, I know. Yeah, I read that. I just, yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, Raymond just popped up the YouTube link for me. I appreciate that. Yeah, that suicide forest. I definitely, yeah, that's really something. That would really creep me out too because of walking through there and finding out all the empty tents and stuff and seeing all the string and stuff that's thrown around down there and it just all the backpacks, the shoes. Yeah, that would just that's really really creepy. Um, but it's one thing to suicide. That's really something that needs to be addressed today too. It's been going on a long time. In fact, in Japan and China, they kind of honorably showed suicide one way, Harry Carey and all that. But not to get off subject, but there's a lot. Being ex-military myself, there's a lot of military guys out there that are committing suicide, and it's not fair to them. They didn't ask to go through what they went through. Um, nobody does. So something needs to be done, and I'm just going to leave it at that. On that note, yeah, no insects or birds. Yeah, yeah, it's eerily quiet, very very quiet there. That's what makes it creepy, amongst seeing all the other stuff that's left behind. That kind of reminds me of the island over off the coast of, I believe, Mexico. That has the Isle of Dolls, and the island being haunted, and there's dolls hanging everywhere. Yeah, it's that kind of creepy. So excuse me while I get a drink of coffee. Good morning, Rachel. How are you? Farmer, how are you, brother? Yeah. Yeah, I think at last count it was Farmer. It was something about something like 207,000 total suicides military wise in the last 20 years. You have to think of why, so yeah. Hey Dennis, I sent you a link on Messenger if you want to jump on. Farmer, I'll send you a link too if you want to, brother. Raymond, I'll send you a link if you're on my Messenger list. Yeah. Yeah, you almost have to wonder if it's like because of the ley lines or if it's the energy of the volcano coming from it or energy of water. It's almost like the places that are back in the deep parts of the national forest and stuff around here. And, where people really don't walk that much. It's almost like that kind of a thing where people go disappearing that do go back there. Um, I refuse to go there and take any investigation. I respect for the dead people. Yes. Well, yes, Irene, you're absolutely right. Everybody should have respect for the dead. In fact, that was part of the topic last night on the podcast I was on. Um, there he is.
Good morning, sir.
There he is. Let's make you a little bigger there, okay?
All right.
There we go. No, I was on the podcast last night. I was just telling Irene, that we need to have respect for the dead, because what people don't understand when they go in cemeteries and stuff and start instigating and provoking and being rude and disruptive and nasty, that those were once people. They were once alive like us. And just because they're in the ground doesn't take them from being, any more less human than we were, or we are, you know. So yeah, that was one of the things we talked about last night on the podcast. And yeah, I'm just a firm believer that you just don't disrespect the dead. So, but there was a question. There was a question put out to me, Dennis, the other day, by Morehouse, Mr. Morehouse, and several others about Bigfoot having the ability to cloak and do certain almost mystical things. And my point of it, I just wanted to get your 2 cents on it. My point was that Bigfoot has become so close to the environment that he's deriving that power from the environment, and he's learned the natural laws of nature and science to protect itself. That you can be flesh and bone, but yet you can still be mystical. So,
well, I've often said, William, that if you're the world champion at hiding, as Bigfoot definitely is, you're not sloppy about it. You're definitely you're gonna have it down pat. And as I told you earlier in an earlier show, that when we talked about that, and my experience with my Bigfoot sighting was how quickly it was gone without a trace. Is what really struck me. I mean, I just like I said, I didn't get to see the full figure, just saw the hairy arm, like going behind that oak tree, and it was gone. I looked up in the tree. There was no way. There was a lot of what I would say medium height brush there, and there was no way of any kind of even a raccoon, and I've been attacked by raccoons when I was hunting one time. They can be mean little buzzards.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, nothing, that size could have gotten away out of my eyesight that quickly. That's just what dumbfounded me about it. It was not only seeing what I saw, but the aftermath of it, boggled my mind. So I got to researching on that, and I found out this happens to a lot of people during these sightings and stuff. And I said, one of the things about Bigfoot sightings, the proximity to them of cave systems. If you were going to disappear quick, you could jump in a hole that you had, or a trap door, or something like that, and lead out. That's one possibility. That if you're a master of disguise and hiding like this guy is, you're definitely going to have an escape route.
Right.
Or you're going to plot in your mind a way out of something. But as for them being, and I believe to a certain extent, they are so close to the land. You can become, William, you can become so close to the land that you become part of the land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think that is another attribute of Bigfoot, that he is that close to the land that he can do these type of things. But and then there's that other school of thought. Is this some kind of a being a trans-dimensional type being that can go from one reality to another through doorways, or cloak itself so that it becomes somewhat invisible. You can do. There is a theory that if you can get in between the dimensions or realities, whatever name you want to give them, then you
Right.
can actually disappear. You can kind of like not be there, not be seen. And
Right.
I have seen instances where it makes me wonder about that,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. And one thing that people have to understand too is this is all still new as far as finding out information about Big Brother, and we call him, Big Brother. So as far as my people go, just so everybody knows that I'm referring to Bigfoot. But having the ability, like you said, living so close to the environment and to the natural law of nature, gives my own ancestors and native people the certain energies for ceremony, especially. That's where we derive our, a lot of our strength from that and our ancestors. So yeah, when we say everything is connected and everything has spirit, we're not lying. I mean, it's something that the Europeans, when they came here, needed to learn, but they were so busy pushing Christianity that they lost sight of, the natural law around them. So,
Right.
um, but yeah, I just wanted to get somebody else's perspective on that, Dennis. Um, I'm not going to go as long as I normally do today because of the time I was on last night and yesterday morning. But I did want to bring you on and find out your insight on that, and see if what kind of questions we got. I have seen video of Bigfoot and seen a different dimension, and where the forest changed to the different dimension, it could be a paranormal as well. Yes, it can be paranormal. In fact, it is paranormal, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Um, because any paranormal is a wide encompassing description word. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you in order to separate the Bigfoot and other beings from the paranormal, from ghost hunting and that type of stuff, and energies and all that, you would need to describe it as cryptids, cryptid creatures, as far as that goes. And you got the Bigfoot, you got the dog man, you got the lizard man, you got, oh man, I can't even. There's so many of them. There's got to be at least 20, 30 cryptids out there that people have seen. Um,
And William, according to folklore, cultural beliefs worldwide, these things are not only just what we would call paranormal. I think they're above the normal of the paranormal. That's where they
yep,
go into high strangeness. Uh,
yep,
but there is a distinct supernatural link to these things that people have recognized over many years.
yep.
That there is another little look at the werewolf for a moment. The
Mm-hmm.
werewolf is one of my favorite cryptids, by the way, and it has that magical dark magic, or whatever name you want to give it, that supernatural link to it. And
Right.
as you know, the Native Americans of this country also gave Sasquatch that type of a link as well.
Yeah.
So we can't ignore that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's true.
so that does kind of goes beyond just what I call the normal paranormal.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. And think about all the times that people see Bigfoot and Dogman and other cryptids around cemeteries.
Oh yeah. You
I
know,
mean,
William, I've been in many thousands of cemeteries, and I have had so many strange occurrences, run into strange incidents. I could write a book about it just on nothing but the cemeteries. They seem to be a certain place for, I don't know, I want to say gateway to these things, I don't know why, but it just seems, and you were talking earlier about places where suicides take place. A lot of there's places like that all over. I know there's a place in Romania, Japan. There are different suicide forests all over the world. What's going on with that? Are people drawn to these areas? Are things drawn to these certain areas where there may exist portals or gateways of some sort?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Farmer brings up a good point. Farmer brings up a very good point about the possibility of teleportation from one spot to another because of the law of nature. I never really thought about that. I mean, I thought maybe portals or maybe going cloaking, but I never thought about teleportation. That's kind of a unique thing to bring up. Farmer, that's a very good way to describe what happens. That's something I'm going to have to look into.
Well, when we talked earlier about the Philadelphia experiment, which not only dealt with time and space, but it was teleportation as well. When you talk about time and space, you're going to run into that teleportation type thing. It's the movement of time and space itself. William, a lot of times, and I'm very interested in this portal aspect of these things because, like I say, I've had run-ins with that before in the past. And the strange magnetic occurrences that occur there, the strange paranormal type stuff that goes on, the time shifts. I mean, I've had so many people come to me and say, I was in this place one minute, and minutes later I was somewhere else, and I don't remember the in between on that. So what's going on there? You're talking about, when you talk about time shifts, you definitely got to take in the fact of teleportation, because here's the interesting thing. If you go into another dimension and you're moving when you do it, you're going to still be moving when you come out somewhere else,
Yep. Let's see what Raymond said. An Amish family told the family about a Bigfoot looking creature coming into their yard, squatting down, and a white light came from its mouth. And when it got up and walked away, it became translucent. Yeah, I've heard of that too. And I think Raymond, that has a lot to do with the orbs that people are seeing too. I've kind of talked about that before previously. I believe that those orbs that everybody's seeing is not only just a portal possibly that they come through, but it could be what the Chinese call qi. It could be their life force, their essence, their energy, and that always is with them, but they make it visible at certain times in certain situations. And I think the reason they make it visible is to distract from people looking at them and looking up in the sky above them and taking their eyes off of them for a split second, so they have the ability to disappear.
Sort of sleight of hand stuff like an illusionist might do.
Exactly. So that's just my theory on it. But yes, that is true. That there is the white light. Yes, portals. Irene's excited about the portals, energy and all that. Yeah, and that's the thing with portals. They can open up wherever there's energy, and there's energy in trees. There's energy in water. There's energy in crystals. There's energy in granite. I mean, everywhere there's unlimited.
There is a lot of earth energy there. That's what you're basically talking about. Earth energy. Earth, as we talked about the ley lines before, they are telltale signs of this energy, this inherent natural energy that's there. I live not very far away from the Brown Mountain Lights. I know you've heard of them. And I've often wondered if that, I go past it being a supernatural type thing. I mean, I think it's more or less of an unnatural thing that's just not explained yet. It's something that's occurring naturally. We look at it as unnatural, but it is natural thing occurring. And William, a lot of times there's been reports of lights and stuff being seen like that before earthquakes.
Right. Yeah. Earthquakes.
So you're talking about a lot of earth energy here. You're talking about some very impactful type energy. If you could harness that
Yep.
or use it to do what you wanted to, you could do a lot of interesting things.
Yep. Yep. And one thing I was also curious about too was with the Mothman too, that people see. Usually, it's before a natural disaster of some type that they see it. Maybe it's drawn to the energy of that certain
And
situation.
that would be a disruption of time and space kind of a thing. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And that's just one thought that I had. But yeah, I believe that that the volcanic eruptions are pure the energy, the earthquakes that you talk about, natural floods. I mean, the amount of energy and water from a natural flood is astronomical. I mean, it would be almost as powerful as an earthquake burst of energy. Um, there's so many things going on that.
And as Einstein said, all things are a form of energy,
Yep,
some
yep,
way or another. Yeah.
yep, exactly. Oh, let's see. Because I lived in suicide condo and talked about the portals and energy, man, we had to move because you had to move. Well, that's not good.
It is interesting that a lot of these places where these portals supposedly these portals are found does lead to suicide for certain people. I don't, that's another thing, and it could be also a reaction or a trigger to their emotional being as well.
Yeah.
Um, that way, there are many ways to tell when you're in the presence or the nearby presence of a portal. Like I told you before, magnetic energy, which has a lot to do with our well-being as well, EMF.
Mm.
I have seen. I remember one time I was actually tracking an EF signal through a mobile home. This supposedly was some paranormal stuff going on there, and all of a sudden my meter went way up. I mean, unusually way up. Now I knew where all the electrical outlets were. I mean, the fuse boxes and everything were. I was away from that, and I'm going towards the back and to the back window, and I said, "What's going on here? This is dangerously high." And I look out the back window, and there's one of those electrical towers out there, about 20 feet away. Okay, that's what's going on here. But I went back and told those people, I said, look, if you were to ask me if I wanted to live here, I would say no, because this is not good for you,
Right.
to experience. And so when you experience an EMF field of a high EMF field, it can do all kinds of weird stuff to you. It can not only your body but mentally as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, see, where we live currently, my family and I, we have not only the natural water energy from the stream going by, we have the power lines. We have a Civil War battle right where our home sits. So we have that energy from the battle. I mean, we have so many different things that we have, the environment around us because we have nothing but mountains and trees around us. So there's so much energy where we're at. I'm starting to wonder if maybe that's the reason there's so many cryptid sightings and other weird high strangeness stuff going on here locally. And there is
It's
a
right,
lot.
especially in certain areas. Like I talk about in my book. About that parallel that runs across this country.
Yeah.
On either side and directly in this parallel, weird things are going on. Mothman is seen. Um, uh, a lot of different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just cryptids, but a lot of paranormal activity.
Yeah.
Uh,
We're only
Makes you
about
wonder.
2 hours. Yeah, we're only about 2.5 hours at the most from Point Pleasant. And so I mean that's straight as a crow flies, and we're not even a mile from the Appalachian Trail. So I mean, so
I'm
you
at one end, by the way. I'm at one end of that trail where I live, and you're at the
yeah,
other.
yeah,
So there's a lot of interesting things goes on between that too. look at all the many, many unusual amount of disappearances along the Appalachian Trail, and all the so-called cryptids that are seen along there, not just Bigfoot, and Dogman and werewolves and all that, but other stuff as well. There's a bunch of them. So that makes you wonder. There's definitely those hot areas in certain parts where there's just more unusual activity, and it makes you wonder too if maybe this could be also connected to portals.
Yeah, Raymond said he's about 45 minutes from Point Pleasant, so he pretty much grew up or lives right where all that high strangeness happened there.
I've been to Point Pleasant, and I'm going to tell you, it is an unusual layout. I mean, I went like from one area to another, and I was in a swamp. I mean, it looked like a swamp by the creature from the Black Lagoon movie or something. I mean, and it was right near where a lot of these Mothman sightings were. So you've got a lot of interesting terrain there in Point Pleasant, definitely.
Yeah, and then you have to wonder too, with all the World War II ammunitions factories there, and the TNT factory and all that during World War II, and even after World War II, if that didn't kick up a little bit of the energy too there, because they dug up that ground and made all those bunkers, and there's no telling what kind of energies that they stirred up there, and our military is always
and there's
involved.
Another thing, William, the Ohio River runs right by there. I mean, you've got a large body of water as well, and as you and I both know, water seems to be a conductor to these things. Yeah.
Yep. Oh. Well, Irene, maybe we can get you over here and show you the area over there by the Mothman. That'd be something. That'd be a good trip for you to have. And I know pretty much one of the best guides for that area too. But with that being said, I'm gonna cut this a little short because, like I said, I've still got to do my medical stuff today. But I wanted to come on and at least answer a few of those questions that people keep on sending me, and send me more questions, because the more questions I have to answer, the better I have. Oh yeah, the Mothman Festival is coming up in September. Yes, that's true. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I might go to that. I know I have. There's a couple things in September I want to go to. One's a little bit closer down by Blacksburg, Virginia, down by Virginia Tech. They had that big UFO con down there, from the sightings down there, and with the Men in Black down there. And the Men in Black is a whole nother thing. Maybe we'll bring that topic up next time I bring you on, the Men in Black, and we'll both do our research and see what we come up with. So, because that's questionable too. But I want to thank everybody. I apologize for it being short today, but yes, and the sacred ground thing, you're right. Yes, that all goes back to the earth energy. Yeah, you dig in Mother Earth, she's going to get mad. That's for sure. But I want to thank everybody. And Dennis, thank you for coming on, brother. I appreciate it.
No problem.
If you got some free time Thursday night, Nighthawk by the Fire, I might bring you on too then if you want. And we'll talk about Native American legends and stuff.
Okay.
And hopefully it won't be raining and I can actually have my fire. So, but
it can be a virtual fire anyway.
yeah, true. Yeah, light a fire under my ass to get me going, kind of a thing, is what it's going to need to be. All right, Dennis. We'll see you, my friend. You take care.
All right, take care.
Anyways, I want to thank everybody for stopping in today, and Raymond, I want to thank you for your help. Irene, I appreciate you being here, dear. Farmer, everybody, if anybody needs anything, you all know how to get a hold of me. I'm here for you. Okay, if you have any questions, anything paranormal, because it's one thing about me, I'm not just a cryptid investigator. I'm not just a ghost hunter. I'm not just a spiritual advisor for my people. I am, I guess you can say, I am paranormal. That'd be a good book title. I am paranormal. Okay, folks. Until Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern, Nighthawk by the Fire. And hopefully I'll see you all there, okay? Until then, you can message me if you have any questions, or send me a link or something to your site, or if you want to friend me on Facebook, go right ahead. I'll approve it right away, and we'll go from there. And I'll be there for you. If you can, like, heart, and share this out, and subscribe. Send this out to as many people as you know, and tell them, hey, well, you know what? We need to make a difference, and I think talking about it and getting it out there with everybody is a way to do it. And all this internal bickering back and forth has got to stop in the paranormal field, all across the board. I think we all need to come together. So that being said, I love you all very much, and I will see you Thursday night at 9 o'clock. All right. Have a great day. Bye-bye.